Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gil Bashe. I'm Chair of Global Health and Purpose at Fin Partners. This is a very special session. It's titled The New Architect of Values, and it's presented by a very special person as we near the close of People and Planet United, the kickoff, the pre-con of HIT Lab's New York City Health Innovation Week, NYCHI. Let me tell you a little bit about Amy, because I think you'll understand the context in which she operates. Amy is a managing partner at Fin Partners. She's the global practice lead for purpose and social impact in our organization. She works across industries. She's a leader within organizations. In fact, she's a leader within the Cephal Institute and also Sustainable Brands. Amy has stepped forward on national television, CBS News, when people were questioning or had questions about the role of purpose and social impact in the corporate scene. And this presentation, her summary of our day, is incredibly important because of what has occurred in past years and obviously what we've heard throughout the day. Amy has a very interesting background. Obviously, she's been involved in the aspects of purpose and corporate purpose with NGOs as well for the last 20 years. But her career as a communicator is actually built in major movies that we all know, Lord of the Rings, Jackie Chan, the famous, obviously, martial arts expert on film, and other notables. She's been involved with the Academy Awards. She has been a communicator, obviously, for some of the most visible, iconic themes in national American society. And she's a close student of what makes purpose and social impact successful, both on the corporate side and the not-for-profit side. Amy, it is a privilege to have you provide closing reflections on this magnificent day.
Thank you, Gil. I am honored to be here, and I am honored to call you a colleague and friend. Thank you for that introduction. I first want to say thank you to all of our participants. This summit has brought together CEOs and leaders at companies like Microsoft, Novartis, Bayer, and more, who have realized that social impact isn't a moral luxury, it's a competitive requirement. When we stood here last year, we talked about a new social consciousness and the collision between policy and progress. I told you then that purpose was not a trend, it's a long game. Today, I am here to tell you the rules have changed yet again, and the game has matured. In a world of compounding crises, we have to ask, is this work really the most important thing right now? When the base of the hierarchy, security, stability, and trust is shaking, the role of a corporation changes. We are no longer providers of products. We are anchors of reliability. This has created the new architecture of value, the digital reality, the social impact pivot, and the bottom line for the base. We've entered a reality where corporate silence isn't just content, it's data that gets scored by machines. We are in an era where the voice of the few can influence the many in seconds. In this environment, silence is not golden. It is a void that will be filled by someone else's narrative. As consumers move from traditional search to AI-driven discovery, our impact must be machine readable. If a generative engine can't verify your progress, your purpose effectively disappears from the digital record. This is why GEO, generative engine optimization, is becoming the standard for purpose communications. At the same time, AI is becoming our greatest ally in improving our work. We are seeing a massive shift where 60% of nonprofits are using AI to surface needs faster and automate ROI reporting. For leaders, this means we can finally move from declarations to proof points in real time, to prove out purpose, closing the gap between investment and perceived value. However, this progress creates a new tension. We know that AI can help solve the climate crisis, but only if we can solve the energy crisis created by AI itself. That is why we've seen the rise of the Coalition for Sustainable AI. We are moving beyond vague ethics to technical standardization, measuring the environmental impact of every single training run. It's no longer just about doing good, it's about being technically responsible. Outside of the buzz around AI, CEOs and CCOs have been trying to navigate the moment, and that navigation has led us to a permanent seat at the table. We saw that most clearly at Davos this year, which featured the most extensive programming for corporate affairs and communications in its history. We are no longer a support function called in to manage a crisis or a launch. We are part of the core business strategy because we've aligned social impact with the bottom line. If it doesn't drive the business, it is not sustainable. The marketplace has made its choice. We are moving away from those flashy, nationally recognized mass culture campaigns that try to please everyone and end up moving no one. The work that is winning today is localized, highly integrity filled, and data backed. It's about playing to your base and being known and trusted within the specific communities where you actually operate. In a transparent and digitally driven world, the return on purpose is no longer a soft metric. According to CECP's 2026 Corporate Purpose Driving Business Value Report, purpose-driven companies are outperforming their peers across every major financial indicator. Specifically, companies that have moved beyond a mere stated purpose to fully integrated, purpose-driven systems are seeing a median revenue nearly 2 times higher than their competitors. These aren't just marginal gains. Companies are seeing a 30% increase in innovation rates and a 63% higher return on invested capital. This data confirms that purpose is the ultimate ROI engine. It's the difference between a company that survives a crisis and one that scales through it. We are seeing that when purpose is embedded into governance and incentives, it doesn't just build reputation, it builds a strategic infrastructure that protects long-term value through volatility. That is why companies are choosing to speak through their products. We call it paperization, the mass scale shift from plastic to paper-based packaging. For example, Apple officially fulfilled its pledge to remove all plastic from its packaging, transitioning to 100% fiber-based materials. This isn't just an ESG target. It's a physical touch point. Consumers are seeking physical proof of a brand's values in their hands, not just in an annual report. This is what remains a priority: structural changes that your customer can actually see and feel. It's about ensuring your base stays with you because they see your values reflected in the very packaging they hold. We are also seeing a major shift in how we fund change. Nearly 20% of firms are now shifting toward larger, fewer grants focused on measurable systemic outcomes. Companies are choosing to go deep on specific issues: safety, accessibility, economic mobility, rather than trying to own everything at once. Core business strategies used to be purely transactional. Today, they are relational. We cannot forget the core concerns of the people who keep us in business. This work has been around forever. It feels magnified today because of the 24-hour spotlight, but success today belongs to the specialists. It's an increasingly fragmented media landscape. We need to be the strategic calm in the storm. Very few campaigns break through as mass culture moments. Instead, influence is built through defensible expertise. Companies are being recognized for choosing a lane and staying in it. Impact leaders are no longer being evaluated on the declarations of new initiatives, but on the decisions they make every day. The most effective social impact work of 2026 feels quieter, but it carries more weight because it is baked into the complex systems of the business. I want us to bring us back to the heart of the long game, as we discussed again last year. Howard Bowen urged businesses to consider their impact nearly 75 years ago. Today, that consideration is no longer a choice. It is an operational reality of the 21st century. Our own CEO, Peter Finn, prioritizes purposeful innovation and partnerships throughout the agency and in our everyday work. Our job is no longer to convince the world that we have a purpose. Our job is to prove that our purpose is so deeply integrated in our data, AI, and supply chains that it is the very thing that makes our business sustainable. The long game is no longer about winning the moment. It is about building a system that can withstand the future. Thank you all again. And with that, I'd like to thank all of the presenters that participated again today. And we are on to the opening reception of the New York City Health Innovation Week. Enjoy the event. Thanks so much.